Well, hey there, fabulous book lovers. I am so excited to see you for another episode of Mer Week as we are celebrating the launch of the Siren Wars Saga Selena's Complete Trilogy Omnibus box set, which comes out this Tuesday. Not only do we have the Siren Wars, Darker Depths, and Beyond the Shores, all of the first three trilogies within the Siren Wars Saga, but we also have a bonus prequel novella from everyone's favorite brooding merman. And speaking of incredible mermen, today we are here hanging out with Merman Thommy. I am so excited because we're actually friends over on social media. Today is the first time we've actually been able to hang out face to face. So, Thommy, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. And thank you so much for having me for this interview. It's an amazing opportunity for me, so thank you.
I'm so excited because you and I actually get to chat over on social media. You've given me so many great tips, including where to find my gorgeous new towel, which I haven't debuted on social media yet, but I've waiting for a chance to tag you and be like, this was all you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that towel honestly helps out big time. It's a big round one that I think I said from Costco, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I got that one from there. But I know at Walmart and a couple other places online have them too, but it's a big giant round thing that looks like a carpet. I love it.
It's absolutely beautiful. I got mine from Walmart. It's got like little pink tones and blue tones, and it matches my tails, and I'm just so thrilled to pieces with it. So at some point, we're going to put that out on social media and be like, all you. Hey, listen, if you are joining us live on air, we want to hear from you. If you've got questions for Thommy, drop them into the comments below, and we will answer as many as we can while we are live on air today. And if you happen to be on our rebroadcast, we want to hear from you too. We will be monitoring those comments. We're going to get as many answered as possible. But if you have something that is so dang good and we did not get it answered while we are on air today, we might just be able to drag Merman Thommy back to hang out with us for another live broadcast. He didn't know that yet, but I'm going to make it happen. So if you have something amazing, hit us up in those comments below, and we're going to get as many of those things answered as possible while we are live on air. So Thommy, tell me a little bit about you and what you do as a merman.
Okay, so for me, I actually just started becoming a merman this year. So I was recently hired in February to go ahead and work at Dive Bar in Sacramento. As soon as I was hired, I did 1 day of training, and then they put me on hold because one of their old staff had come back. So I was a little bit devastated with that, but I continued. I ended up working for Mermaid Beacon in Sacramento, and when that happened, Merman Jax from Dark Tide Productions came up and had me try on one of his tails to see if it would fit. And luckily enough for me, it did, so I was able to work the event, and that's kind of how my career started taking off. People saw the videos, the postings, and then it just kind of grew from there. Dive Bar contacted me back again in July, I think, and that's when they actually put me back on the training regimen again. I started performing in August. Yeah, August and September. So I'm back up and running. I work for Dark Tide Productions and Dive Bar Sacramento, and I've got a few more things that are in the works, but I just can't say anything yet because it's all in a snowball effect right now.
Pretty darn awesome. I feel like I what didn't come into your life right at the beginning of it, but I was pretty darn close to the beginning of it, and I have absolutely loved watching the progression of all of the different events that you're doing and the tank shows that you've been doing. And I'm just so floored by all of those video clips and the photos that you put out on social media. Guys, we will be giving out his social media at the end of today's broadcast. You have got to check him out because he's got the coolest videos. Like, I love your photos. I really do. But your videos are amazing. And I want to take a minute and talk about the tank that you work in because you have some of the coolest and cutest videos from that.
Yeah, I have a blast inside that tank, and it's honestly an experience that most people won't ever have because it's very special. We're in Sacramento. It's Dive Bar. It's a 40-foot actual aquarium, 4 foot by 4 foot wide, I think, maybe 4.5 feet, and 4 foot tall. But basically, you're in there, and you're in your own bubble, your own world. And they have live fish in there. It's saltwater. It's amazing. We also have a actual performance-ready light show, too. So the whole time that I'm in there, we have so many things that are going on, and it's just a blast. I love it. Love it.
It looks like so much fun. I'm really quite jealous that you get to spend so much time in your tail. And I know you've got some really cool tails, which we can actually see behind you, which I'm so excited about. Tell me a little bit about your tails.
Okay, so I actually got my first tail, which is the swimtails tail over here, and it's the Sand Beta. I did an event with swimtails where they actually pulled in a few MERS from California area, and they had it, I believe it was the Mermaid meetup. So we got to do a photo shoot with them, their new product line, which is still on the process of coming out right now. So I know that they put out a couple of them already, but they have many more that they're going to be launching. But they gave that tail to me as a gift for doing that photo shoot with them. And I wasn't expecting it. I had no clue. I did the whole event, had the whole process, and I'm like, I just love this tail. I've always loved it since the beginning, blah, blah, blah. And then at the very end, they're like, well, we got a surprise for you. You actually get to bring that one home. And I had this tail in my hands. I had pictures posted on social media just holding it. not even aware that they were going to do that. And one of the girls that was doing like makeup and hair, she kind of knew, and then one of their other people that worked with the company knew too, and they were just smiling like, "You really do love that tail, don't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, now I get to tell you," and that's when I almost lost everything. It was great. I was like, my whole brain was like going to blow. But yeah, so they gave me the tail, and honestly, for a fabric tail, I love it. It flows great. It moves well. It's super soft with the touch, so it doesn't have like a coarse feeling at all. It feels kind of like I guess you could say bikini material or like really nice swimsuit material. Mm-hmm. So it's great to put on. It's super easy. I love it. It's amazing. Now
I'm gonna interrupt you for just a second because you have sounded like such an amazing commercial for them. We're totally gonna show them this later. But I have been eyeing that tail for a very long time. I'm obsessed with how gorgeous it is, and to be able to see it in your photos, I just fell in love with it even more. So I just wanted to give a shout out that literally is next on my I really want to get this tail list. So I'm just throwing that out there that if you guys are looking for tails, this is a great one to look at because the shape is amazing. And I'm going to say this because I can. That is actually super, super close to the mermaids inside the Siren Wars Saga with the tail.
Okay.
Which is why it's so high on my priority list. Okay. Tell us about your other tail.
Because they do have, like I said, they're releasing more different designs in the beta line too.
Are they?
Yeah, so that's a little bit of a tidbit. I think there's probably a few. I don't know how many exactly, but just keep an eye out because they are launching more.
Oh, that's amazing. I think I'm going to have to reach out and be like, listen, my friends, I need certain colors. Can we talk?
Yeah, definitely get in contact with them because they're great people. Honestly, meeting them, they weren't like businessy people the whole way through it. They were actually really personable, kind of like a friend or a family member. So I had a great time with them. Amazing.
Oh, that's so much fun. Okay, so guys, we're all going to be friends here. We're just going to start a little group chat. It's going to be awesome. All I'm saying.
I'll go with it.
You're just going to introduce me to all your friends at this point. It's going to be fantastic. Listen, before we talk about Tommy's second tail, if you are here joining us live, we want to hear from you. Jump into those comments below and let us know your questions for Merman Thommy all about his life as a merman. We can talk about his tails. We can talk about his time in the tank. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Hit us up and let us know what your most burning merman questions are. So, Tommy, tell me about the second tail of yours.
Okay, so the second tail that I have right here is the blue one. That's my Merman's tail that I got from nephew Keanu. That's his last name. I used to have a problem not saying it right, so he finally got me fixed up on how to pronounce it appropriately. But that tail kind of happened just on a whim. During the whole process of being put on hold at Dive Bar, not knowing where I was going to be going right away, he ended up contacting me, and I was like, well, I'm not really ready to purchase a tail. You know, I'm not really performing yet. And then he just kept on pushing the issue, and I'm like, okay, well, let me see what other avenues are out there. And after talking to a few people, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go with it. So I got in contact with Matt, and I told him I am really particular. I don't want anything that you currently have because I just don't want to be a reproduction right now. I want to have something that I think, you know, matches me and my personality. So we went around back and forth. He started designing different features of different things that I gave him, different requirements. Like I wanted it to be more masculine. I wanted it to be really kind of a beat up look. So that way it's not clean. And if I damage it, it's not as noticeable.
Yes.
So he started designing it and sent me a lot of, you know, pictures back and forth. And I started sending him my ideas of what to change. And within about 2.5 months, I had this beast made. And I've been swimming in it since, and I absolutely love it. It's great. It moves well in the water, and I feel like it's customized to me. So that's why I like it even more.
Which is amazing. And I actually had the opportunity to watch your live unboxing when you got your tail. You kind of showed it off for us. That was so much fun. If you guys are not following Tommy over on social media, we're going to give you his links at the end of today's show. But he is fantastic about doing live broadcasts and hanging out on his platform and talking to people. So make sure you stick around because you do not want to miss his Instagram page and everywhere he is over on social media as well. So speaking of your tail being a little more on the masculine side, a little more on the beat up side, I know you have some interesting things with your backstory, and the fact that you don't necessarily have an intense mersona developed as many of our mermaids that we have been talking with during Mer Week have in their repertoire as a mermaid. So tell me a little bit about where you come from with your personal look for your merman.
Okay, so for me, I didn't want to be like the general, I'm just a mermaid or a merman. I wanted to have something that was a little bit more intense, I guess. So I kind of went with more of a warrior aspect or like a protector. So that's why I like the beat up look. Maybe as in like I've gotten a few fights, I protected something. That's the whole mersona I was going for to start with. But honestly, I really don't have the full story backed up, you know, lined up yet. I haven't created too much on it. I mean, looking at it, every time I see it, I just know that it's a really, really strong looking pill. So I'm like, I need to come up with something really strong. I just need to figure that out. And I haven't finalized it completely yet. And it's growing as I do different shows and different productions and different events. Because the more people that come to meet me and see me, they'll ask me specific questions that actually build up on the story. So it helps me out too. And I'm growing through that experience, which is great too.
So on that note, people come up and ask you a lot of questions, as they do to all mermaids and mermen. And I know that behind the scenes before we went live, you told me a fun little story, which I want to share because I think it's hilarious. So you
Okay.
have actually asked a question that you were not fully prepared for, but you totally rocked out. Tell me all about it.
Okay, so I was actually at Long Beach Pirate Invasion, and I had a whole bunch of kids coming up to me, and then there happened to be, I want to say maybe a teenager, young adult, who came up to me, and he was fascinated with mermaids, more folk. He knew the background stories of everything, Ariel, Poseidon, different, gods, rulers, all of it, their kingdoms, and that's where this question came into play. So he comes up, sits next to me for the photo op. I take a picture with him, and I start asking him how his day's going, the whole process, and he looks at me, and he asks me very directly, and I'm not ready for it, but he's asking me, what kingdom do I thrive from? And as soon as I hear this, I'm looking at my friends and I look over and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Because it threw me off. I didn't know how to even process that. And in my head, the first thing that came to mind was in California, we have a hospital called Kaiser, and their logo or their slogan is, thrive well or live on, So I'm like, I can't say Kaiser. That's not appropriate. So I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Again, what did you say? So he repeats himself. What kingdom do you thrive from? And I'm like, the Pacific. And as soon as I do that, I look over at my friends that are working with me again, and they all were like, oh gosh, and they all start laughing because it fit. The guy loved it. He's like, okay, so you're not part of Ariel's kingdom. That's great, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, now I really need to focus. And I just started playing along with it and built up off of that. But yeah, I really did want to say Kaiser, but I'm glad I didn't.
Which is amazing. I absolutely love that. We are getting a lot of love here while we are live hanging out. And speaking of, you can do us a little bit of a favor if you are here hanging out and you are totally loving everything that Tommy is saying today. We want you to hit the share button, because when you hit the share button, that tells Facebook we are doing something good. We're having a great interview. We're having lots of fun and you are enjoying it. And when you hit that share button and you tell Facebook that we're doing something good, that means Facebook is going to kick this video out to even more people, which means I can then do even more events like Mer Week for you guys right here on my author page on Facebook. So we've got our weekly talk shows. We've got all sorts of fun, fabulous authors and bookish people joining us. But we are expanding. We're doing some really cool things. And we're continuing with our Mer Week celebration. And if you want to see more things just like this, hit the share button, help a girl out, and let Facebook know we're doing something awesome here. Plus, that gets Tommy out too. And who doesn't want more Merman Thommy, right?
Well, thank you.
All right. So you and I actually get to hang out on social media. We spend a lot of time chatting and following all the fun things on social media. You had a really cool experience through social media with people who are interested in the mermaid world.
Oh, constantly, yeah. There's a lot of people that come up. They either follow you immediately. They'll ask you questions right off the bat, or leave comments on your photos, which always leads into a conversation. But the social media platform, when I first started it, I was using my personal account, and I thought that would be enough. And then as soon as Mermaid Week in Sacramento took off, that's when my two bosses were like, you really need to set up a monthly account. I'm like, oh boy. So as soon as I did that, it was really hectic, really chaotic. There's no really rhyme or reason to planning on what it would look like. So if you actually scroll down, you can see my progression of how I've advanced through this process. But I'm glad I did it, because now my personal account still has like 500 followers just because it's me, nothing exciting. But the Mer account that I have now is over 3,500, and I've only had it since May 22nd. So it's been picking up pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that you're incredibly social on Instagram as well. You were very, very quick to chat with me when I reached out, and we just had a great time chatting. And I know that you are really, really good about answering and responding to people. I feel like, and I mean, I hang out with a lot of mermaids now, but I feel like you are definitely one of the most responsive, and you are definitely one of the most helpful when it comes to just offering information and answering questions. So thank you for that.
And that was part of my whole thing when I was doing this process too and starting the account. I reached out to a lot of people, and I wasn't getting too much responses, and I wasn't getting a lot of feedback right away. So I made it part of my goal that if people are going to be reaching out to me and giving me their time, I need to get my time back to them as much as possible too. So I try to make it my effort to get in contact with everybody that does message me, at least to respond and let them know. And then I try to follow up as much as possible too. But this is my job. This is what I do. If I'm not available for the people that are following me, then what's my purpose?
You know what, Boo? We just need to hang out more, because I'm a social media strategist in real life. and I teach this stuff, and I just want to bring you on my other platforms and be like, come, educate my people.
Thank you. That makes me feel better because honestly, that's like the big thing that I strive for. And it's funny because I didn't think of social media as like an actual job either. I just thought of it, oh, look, I get to post a picture and it's my favorite picture of the day. No, there's actually a lot that goes into it. I edit my photos myself. I do a lot of I do everything. Like my whole social media is pretty much me. The only thing that I don't do myself is my actual website. And that is still completely a work in progress. So please don't judge me on that when you guys go to it right now. There's a lot of stuff I need to update for sure. And that'll be happening hopefully within this month.
Fantastic. But I actually wanted to ask you, because I know you do a lot of your own work. You have a lot of photo shoots. So how do you kind of go about setting up your photo shoots? Because you are just like on point every single photo.
So it's not that I'm on point every single photo. It's I'm on maybe 10 out of the 500 photos that happen. And I don't really actually do a lot of photo shoots, believe it or not. They just happen. So a lot of the photos that I have inside the tank are just doing performances or practices because that's all I've been doing for those. When I go out and I do an event, it's a lot of people that are taking photos just at random times. So they catch me in a candid shot, it looks good, and I get to use that. And I always make it a priority to tag whoever takes the photo if I know, so that way they get recognition for it too. But recently, because this has started progressing a lot more, I've tried to take it to a more professional level. And that's why a lot of the newer recent posts that you'll be seeing, I've been using a lot of grid shots. So it'll be one photo that's in like 6 different posts on Instagram. And I've been putting a lot more effort into those. But yeah, the recent photo shoots I've been doing, oh my gosh, I'll get one good picture out of like I said, 500. And that's the one that I get to go ahead and post and launch. But it's fun, I enjoy it.
I'm actually a professional photographer. I'm like all over the place here. So I know the behind the scenes of one out of every couple of images.
You're looking through everything and you're like, okay, I've got one. All right, and I just spent, 3 hours doing this? And now I'm like, that's it? Okay, we'll make it work.
Exactly. You walk into a photo shoot, you get a couple. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, the funny thing is too is I've done a few of them at home myself because I have a lot of the photography equipment. I have a lot of the green screens and things. But one of the green screens I just recently used I thought was a lot larger than what it really was. So I get it set up and I'm looking at it and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to fit me, my tail, the props, all included. So I might be posting a behind the scenes photo of what it looks like before I get the process done. And you will see carpet, props, random accessories on the ground, carpet again. I'm all over the place. It's a hot mess, but once I get the photo done, you get to see the complete transition and the magic really happen.
Yeah, that end image, that is always worth it, even though it's a lot of work to get to that point, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, after I even get an image put up, there's one on there that I did post recently. I look at it again, and I'm like, I see errors in it already, and it's gonna happen. But you know what? I'm probably the only one that's gonna find it because I did it myself.
I look back at my early work as a professional photographer. I'm like,
yeah, that's me and my Instagram.
Yeah.
When I scroll down to the bottom, I look at it, I'm just like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a fun process.
It is. But the nice thing is that a lot of us leave those there so people can see the progression. And you do that, which is so cool. So people actually get to go on your journey with you or reverse on your journey with you if they're scrolling down.
Well, and I try to let people know that too. I'm like, I'm not I still don't see myself fully as a professional. I really don't because I'm so new. And I'm like, I hate having that label on me because it makes me feel like I have to do more. And I mean, it's a good thing. It forces me to motivate myself even stronger. But I'm still so new. I'm growing with the whole community as myself. And for myself too with that, I want to give back because they've given me so much. I mean, I've been trained by two of the best people I think that are in the industry alone. You know, Merman Jax, and then Mermaid Rachel from Mermaid and Mom. So the fact that I got trained by both these people to do what I'm doing, it's not just me. I've gotten a lot of help from a lot of people out there, including yourself and Mermaid Elite. I mean, there's a lot of places that are contributing, and it's helping me grow.
Fantastic. And I don't actually think I know these people, so I'm going to have to get you to connect us when we're all done because I love making friends. But so much fun. And I have to know now, because you've had so much help, because you've had so many wonderful people influence what you're doing, what is the most important thing that you've learned along your journey?
Be humble. I mean, that's the one thing I can say the most of because I've met a lot of people. I'm not saying that everybody's like this, but you'll meet some people that you've seen on social media or that you've seen in the industry, and then you get to know them and you're like, this is not the person that I really thought they were because you have that representation that you're putting on there. So for me, I'm starting to get the golden heart, super sweetheart personality. And honestly, that's kind of who I am. I mean, of course I can be crazy too. That's going to happen. But that's what I wanted to put off because I want people to know that they can contact me. They can reach out to me. I am there. I am available. Whereas I've had experiences out there that haven't been like that. So keep in mind, I'm here. If you guys need anything answered or any help with anything, I'll try to do my best.
Which I absolutely love about you. I kind of push my fans toward your page anytime they want to get to know mermaids and mermen. I'm kind of like, go see him. He's awesome. But you definitely give off those vibes. Even the first time I came over to your page, I don't even know how I found you. I think you would liked somebody's photo, one of the mermaids that I follow, and I'm like, oh, cool, let's see what's going on over here. And you were just the sweetest, kindest, most wonderful merman ever. So
yeah, that's what I'm going for. At least we'll see if it keeps going like that, but I'm pretty sure it will. That's just who I am.
yeah, you're such a sweetheart, and you're so great about chatting with people, which I know I keep saying, but it really impresses me because not everybody does that. So.
No, not at all. And I keep on looking at I have my phone here and I'm looking at it. I know I get notifications. I'm just like, I can't respond right now. I'll do it later, I promise.
It's hard, right? My phone has been going off. I'm like, oh, I know people are trying to ask me questions, but we're on air.
Exactly. And that's why I'm just like, just go for right now. Give me 5 minutes.
10 minutes, we'll be off air. It's all good. That's so funny. Oh, I love it. So I want to know, we've talked a lot about your tales and about how you got into being a merman. Do you have an absolute all-time favorite experience in your tale?
Favorite, honestly, in this tale here, my favorite experience I think was my first or second swim in the dive bar tank, because I got to use it as my grand opening, me. So when I got to go out in the water, I don't know what I necessarily looked like because I only had a few photos. The movement of the tail I wasn't too sure of, but I actually got all the video and everything back from just fans and people that were there, and I was blown away just by how it looked in the water. So with that, the show lighting, being with like Mermaid Chrissy or Mermaid Janessa or Mermaid Andrea, who I perform with, you feed off their energy too. So my personality in the tank might be really dramatic or really eerie because I'm with Vanessa, who puts on a really great performance that way. And then I go with Mermaid Chrissy, who's super bubbly, heartwarming, and now I'm blowing bubble kisses and I am playing with a dingle hopper. So it really throws me for a loop, but the excitement and the fun factor behind it is great. And I do actually have one favorite moment that I just thought of before now. I was practicing in the tank with Mermaid Andrea, and I did post it on Instagram. It's me playing hide and seek behind a rock. So if you guys want to see something that's super, super seriously cute, look for that video in my feed. It's in there, and you will see us playing peekaboo hide and seek behind a rock, and it's ridiculous. I love it.
So I think I missed that one. So you're gonna have to, direct message me that one later, so I don't have to I will, but you could help me out. But yeah, that is so much fun. I just love all of the things you do in that tank. It's just the cutest to see all of your videos of that. Mm-hmm. One day I will get to your coast and I will come see this show because I'm very excited about it.
Well, it's amazing. And there's a lot of training that goes into that too. Not everybody can do a tank performance in that tank because, for one, people that get in there for the first time ever when they're doing like auditions and stuff, they don't realize how claustrophobic it is because you have props inside. There's seaweed, there's bubbles happening, there's things that you can rest on. You really can't see that much if your goggles are off because it's salt water. So it's a big experience. And then a lot of people don't realize it too, but above the water, like not even an inch, we have I-beams that are right above the water too, every 4 feet. So you can't surface swim across that tank. You have to be underwater and know where to surface. So it's pretty dangerous. And a lot of people don't realize that there is training, there is performance stuff that you have to remember and realize. And for me, I feel very fortunate that being taught in this profession in that tank, I feel sets me up in a little bit of a higher standard for that too. And I really appreciate the fact that I got that opportunity.
That's fantastic. And I didn't realize that it was quite as dangerous as it is. So that kind of makes it even cooler than it was before. I'm just saying, it's pretty awesome.
That's performing with a teammate too, because whenever I'm performing, I'm never alone. I'm with my coworkers. So I have to know what they're doing, where they're going to be at all times. We don't run into each other. I don't poke them with a dingle hopper or something, So there's a lot that goes into it, and I'm grateful. I'm very grateful that I have this opportunity because it's not something that anybody gets to do.
That is so amazing, and I absolutely love it. Now, as a merman, do you have any kind of big dream that you would love to one day try?
Okay, so basically for me, getting the fact that I get to do this as a job, because that was so random, I wasn't expecting it to happen. That was the first, dream right there. Now that it's happening, I'm like, okay, let's step it up a little bit. So now my whole goal now with this is I want to do a lot more international travel and a lot of different, like island shoots and stuff like that. So I just want to expand myself, not just to being, in California or at Dive Bar or at Los Angeles. I want to go more worldwide if I have the opportunity to.
Well, hey, you can always start out by coming and hanging out on the East Coast. We would totally come and support that. But we definitely want to see your international travels as well. And I cannot wait to see what you're going to do to expand your social media presence as you begin to travel. Because, oh my gosh, based on your photos now, I can't even imagine how cool this is going to be later.
Thank you so much. I'm excited about it because honestly, I didn't realize it was going to go this way. I was just expecting, I got my job, I'm going to work at Dive Bar, I'm going to have fun with it, and that was my excitement at the start. And then Rachel and Jack looked at me like, oh no, no, no. And I'm like, what do you mean no? And they're like, things are going to happen. And then sure enough, things are happening. And I'm like, oh no, what do I do?
Just kind of along for the ride at this point, huh?
Honestly, yeah. And it was funny because when I first started, I was doing freelance, work for myself on my personal job, and that gave me a lot of freedom. And then I started a full-time position, working full-time hours. And after that, I was like, oh no, now I have no free time anymore. Well, I'm back to freelancing again. So I have my full schedule open. And now that that's happened, it's basically a roller coaster of whatever comes up, comes up. So I can't wait to see what opportunities are going to arise from this. And I'm stoked.
That's amazing. Now, I know I have a lot of fans who want to know there's a lot of training that goes into being a mermaid or a merman, and they want to know how do you kind of train to do all this because it involves a lot of muscles and a lot of work, and it's very much a lot of exercise to be in a tail. So how do you kind of prepare for this? Because I know you personally actually do quite a bit.
Yeah, so me personally as a human in general, I work out anywhere between an hour and a half to 3 hours every day. So that includes weight training, that includes core exercises, because a lot of the mermaiding work that you do is mainly in your core. A lot of people assume that it's all leg work, but no. If you want to have that good fluid motion, you're going to be using a lot of your mid-region. So I do that, and then I do a lot of running. So I would average about 35 minutes on the treadmill, and that gives me about 2.5 to 3 miles. So that's my daily process. Now, training in general for mermaid work itself, a lot of breath hold practice, because that's one thing that you can always improve on. Like for me, I used to be really good. Once I got hired, I'm like, oh, I'm not as good as I thought I was anymore. So I'm like, my 30 seconds to 40 seconds of moving underwater, holding your breath. No, I'm like at 10 to 30. And I'm like, that's not good right now. Let's get going higher. So I do practice that. There's a lot of apps that you can download from, either your iPhone or your Android that will help you practice with this. One recommendation, word of advice, don't practice breath hold stuff on your own by yourself. Always have somebody there with you because this is kind of dangerous. You could pass out, you could black out. You don't want that to happen. So that's one thing I do recommend. But for me, I've been averaging now about 2 minutes to 2.5 minutes stagnant, not moving, breath hold. And that's when I'm actually, really calm, not stressed out or on caffeine like now. And that's another thing too. Caffeine will influence your breath hold. So I found that out the hard way. I had a probably triple espresso coffee right before I had training at 6 in the morning at the bar. And I get in the tank and I could not do anything. I literally go under the water. I'd have to pop my head back. I was, really anxious. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And that's when my boss is like, did you have coffee this morning? And I was like, yeah. Lesson learned. So you have to pre-think. What did I eat before? Did I have alcohol? Did I have caffeine? These are all things that will influence you while you're performing. So right before any show, any kind of thing that I do, I make sure I have at least a good 3 hours of nothing before, just to keep myself going on.
Fantastic. And that's actually interesting because we have talked a lot about training and about mermaid safety, but I have not had anybody bring up the topic of what you have consumed before you've gone into the pool. So coffee and food and different things actually affect what you're doing, which I didn't realize until right this very second. So thank you for that education.
I wouldn't have known that either until I had my 2 performer bosses. So again, Dark Tide Productions and then Dive Bar. So we had Rachel and Jack. They educated me on a lot of things, and I learned through the process too. So I owe everything to them, honestly.
That's fantastic. Well, we are coming to the end of our interview. We are just about out of time. If you do have questions, if you've got comments, we still want to hear from you.
Yes.
Move into the questions below. And before we wrap this up, Tommy, I want to know, what is the one piece of advice you would give to somebody who was interested in getting into being a mermaid or a merman?
Start off slow. It's not going to be, for most people, it's not going to take off like a roller coaster. I might be an exception just because of what's happening now, but start off basic. Don't put all your money into an expensive silicone tail. Go get a fabric tail. You can get one from Fin Full, from Swim Tails, from Fin Fun. There's a whole bunch of different companies. Find out what will work for you, what's in your budget, and then see if you can like it. If it starts off to be something that you really do enjoy, then go to the next level. But don't just fully invest everything, because that's like one big mistake most people do. They buy a tail, they don't know how to get in it, they don't know how to use it, and they can't use it, and they just have it hung on their wall as art. So make sure you start fresh, something basic, and then work your way up.
And speaking of which, we actually have a really cool opportunity for those of you joining us on our interview today and all Mer Week long, because we have partnered up with Fin Fun Mermaids, and they are actually giving us a discount to give out to you for tails. So if you're interested in hanging out and learning to become a mermaid or a merman, we've got you covered. Tomorrow, we are going to be doing our live broadcast, Seashell Crown Craft broadcast. and we are going to be making shell crowns together, live on air, step by step, direction for direction, with special guests, authors, and mermaids coming to join us. And FinFun is going to be a part of that. Tomorrow, we're going to be giving you this discount code so that you can get your very first tale or a brand new tale if you happen to be interested in checking that out and seeing what it's like to swim as a mermaid or a merman. So stay tuned. More details on that in just a few minutes. Tommy, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I appreciate you coming on live today, and I appreciate every single effort you make over on social media to connect with your people. Before we go, let everybody know where they can find you online.
I'm going to be on Instagram. That's my primary platform. I use Instagram the most, and then from there it goes into Tumblr. It also goes into Facebook. I do have a website. It's mermanthommy.com, so you can find me there. And it's Thommy, Thommy. My mom, she gave it to me. Now it's stuck, and it actually works out to my benefit now. So thank you, Mom.
Amazing. And that is right on the screen, guys, so you can go check him out. Especially make sure you hang out over on his Instagram. Let him know that you saw the interview today. And
yes.
Reach out and say hello, because he's just going to be your best friend, because that's the way he is.
Oh, thank you.
I just love hanging out with you. It's so much fun. But I do appreciate you coming on today. Thank you for all of the great advice and all of the fun stories as well.
Oh, of course. Anytime.
Wonderful. If you have enjoyed today's interview, we do have more coming. Mer Week is all week long from Tuesday to Tuesday as we release the box set omnibus of the Siren Wars Saga, the first complete trilogy within the series that tells Selena's story. You know, Selena is a spy who works for the Mer Queen, and the Sirens have dragged the Mer into a war with the humans, and not everybody is going to survive. If you want to read the whole trilogy, you can get your hands on a copy of the omnibus by going to Siren Wars Selena info.k.m.robinsonbooks.com. And when you order this, you also get a prequel bonus exclusive novella from everybody's favorite written merman, because we've got our favorite merman hanging out with us live as well. But you can read his story in here too. And if you want to try it out before you jump in, you can actually get the entire first book for free by going to sirenwarsinfo.k.m.robinsonbooks.com, and it is free on all platforms right now in celebration of Mer Week. I hope you guys will check it out. So much fun. We've been having a great time with all of our Mer Week interviews, and like I said, we have more coming. So if you join us tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be hanging out with the Circus Siren Pod as they are live from the Carolina Ren Fest. They have their 9-foot travel tank. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And they will be swimming in it live and hanging out with us after the Ren Fair closes this evening. We would love to see you there. We've already heard from several of the girls at the Circus Siren Pod. You guys heard from Morgana, who is the owner and creator of Circus Siren, the other day. We were hanging out with some fabulous people over the last couple of days from their group as well, and I would love for you guys to hang out with us for that this evening. Tomorrow, you can be joining me at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our Shell Crown Craft Time. We are going to be hanging out with Annie Sullivan, author of A Touch of Gold, which happens to have mermaids in it, and she happens to be a dear friend of mine. And we will be hanging out with Katja, the Serpent Siren, as well. We cannot wait, and Katja is actually going to be joining us later this week for an interview as well. And then on Tuesday, you can join me for the box set launch party for the Siren Wars Saga. There will be games, giveaways, party prizes for everyone, and so much fun with special guest Mermaid Tasha. I would love to see you there. We're going to have a great time, and we will be doing multiple interviews every single day from now until the end of Tuesday. So stick around if you want the full Mer Week schedule. There we go. There's my words. If you want the full Mer Week schedule, you can go to merweek.k.m.robinsonbooks.com and get the full schedule for all of the mermaids and fabulous mermen joining us for Mer Week. And if you've got more questions, if you've got more comments, let us know. Be sure to hang out with Tommy over on Instagram. Let him know that you enjoyed today's episode. Merman Thommy right there. That's the link. Get yourself over there. And we will see you again later this evening for the Circus Siren Pod as part of Mer Week 2018. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Until then, stay inspired. Bye-bye.